Imagine a hidden door that appears only for you each night, a passage not on any map, leading to a realm where time dissolves and your very being is quietly, meticulously rewoven. Yet, most people walk right past this door every single evening. They lie down, they close their eyes, but they never truly cross the threshold. Instead of stepping into a sanctuary of repair, they remain in the antechamber of wakefulness, where the wear and tear of the day continues to accumulate. This is not merely rest. This is the most ancient ritual of humanity, a sacred ceremony where the body mends itself, the mind purges its clutter, and the soul returns to its center. Most of us live as if this truth were never revealed to us. We sleep for hours, yet we do not regenerate. We wake up, but we are not reborn. And the most alarming part? We've come to believe this half-life is normal. If you've ever awakened with a racing heart, a foggy mind, or a fatigue that seems baked into your bones, it might not be a medical condition or the simple stress of modern life. Perhaps the root is that you have never truly entered deep sleep. That state of total restoration is the secret workshop of the body and spirit. This is not about simple tips for better sleep. We are about to journey together into the hidden map of rest, a map that combines cutting-edge science and ancestral wisdom. I will show you how techniques forgotten by modernity can return to you the key to this nocturnal sanctuary, how breath, posture, pre-sleep rituals, and the care of your environment can transform any night into an alchemical laboratory where new cells are woven, old wounds are healed, and your vital energy is rewritten. But you will also discover an even deeper secret. Sleep is a spiritual act. Each time you surrender to it, you die a little and are reborn anew. The night is the silent master that orders the chaos of your day and prepares you for a dawn where life begins again. Stay until the end, because I will reveal practices that will transform not only how you sleep, but how you live. After all, your rest does not begin when you close your eyes, but when your soul decides it is finally safe to let go. Tonight could be the start of a new cycle, a cycle where you stop merely surviving and begin to awaken truly repaired. Since the dawn of humanity, sleep has been a mystery both revered and feared. Before artificial light blurred the lines between day and night, ancient cultures lived in sync with the pulse of the sun and moon. They understood that darkness was not an absence, but a cosmic womb where everything was regenerated. In Egypt, the temples of sleep were sacred places. Priests instructed initiates on how to enter a lucid, sacred dream state, where visions were interpreted as messages from the gods. It wasn't just about resting the body, but about tuning the spirit to receive divine instruction. Sleep was a ceremony, the bed an altar, the night a portal. In ancient Greece, followers of Asclepios, the god of medicine, practiced dream incubation. Pilgrims would sleep in special temples, hoping to receive in the vulnerability of night the counsel or cure that wakefulness could not offer. There, sleep was not seen as passive rest, but as a veiled conversation between the human soul and the great mystery. In the East, traditions like Taoism and Buddhism understood that deep sleep is one of the most effective paths to rebalance life energy. For the Taoists, sleeping in harmony with nature's rhythms ensured that qi flowed freely, repairing not just muscles and organs, but also trapped emotions and contaminated thoughts. But this wisdom, which saw rest as an act of alignment with the cosmos, began to vanish with the arrival of modernity. Sleep was reduced to being measured in hours, not quality, stripped of its spiritual and alchemical dimension, and dismissed as a mere biological need. Electric lights, constant noise, and glowing screens interrupted the sacred dance between humans and the night. Paradoxically, contemporary science is now rediscovering what the ancients always knew, that during deep sleep, the body activates cellular repair processes, the brain flushes out toxins through its lymphatic system, and the mind reorganizes information, making space for creativity and intuition. Modern medicine, without even realizing it, is confirming that good sleep is a form of physiological alchemy. This return to the root is no coincidence. We live in an age where disconnection from natural rhythms makes us sick and exhausted. Every night we sleep poorly, we move further away from our original design. Therefore, reclaiming the art of sleep is not a whim or a trend. It is an act of spiritual rebellion against a world that wants us awake, but disconnected. Conscious rest is the key to reconnecting with the wisdom that resides deep within. A wisdom that only reveals itself when we dare to surrender, as our ancestors did, to the restorative embrace of darkness. Sleep is not simply closing your eyes and waiting for tiredness to dissolve. It is a biological and spiritual ritual that involves invisible layers of our existence. The problem is that most people experience it as a chore, a mandatory parenthesis before returning to the routine, when in reality, it is the secret laboratory where body, mind, and soul are rebuilt. Imagine your body as a sacred city. During the day, this city is full of traffic, thoughts coming and going, emotions altering the climate, decisions wearing down the streets and bridges. At nightfall, the gates close, and the invisible architects, your biological and energetic systems, get to work. If you interrupt this process, the city starts to collapse. Cracks in the walls, congested streets, accumulated pollution. Scientists speak of sleep stages: light, deep, and REM. But beyond this technical classification, each stage is a corridor to a different level of repair. In deep sleep, cells regenerate, the immune system strengthens, and the hormones that control aging are balanced. In REM sleep, the mind doesn't just dream. It decodes experiences, orders them, and sometimes transforms them into symbols that, if we know how to interpret them, reveal information from our subconscious. This brings us to a key concept that esoteric traditions have always understood. Sleep doesn't just repair, it also reprograms. Your brain in that state of slow waves acts as an alchemist, dissolving the lead of tensions and fears to extract the gold of serenity and mental clarity. And this alchemy is not a luxury. It is a requirement for waking up the next day with true vital energy, not just an illusion of rest. The problem is that many interrupt this process with habits that sabotage the architecture of sleep. Sleeping in noisy environments with lights on, or staring at screens until the last minute is like asking a gardener to plant flowers in the middle of a storm. The body wants to do its work, but you don't give it the conditions to do so. And it's not just about quantity, but about vibrational quality. Sleeping poorly is like trying to tune an instrument in the midst of chaos. Sleeping well is placing yourself in the perfect frequency so that the entire organism resonates in harmony. In many shamanic traditions, it is said that in sleep, your spirit travels to other planes to bring back information, energy, and healing. But if your rest is shallow, those missions are not completed, and you awaken heavy as if you never went anywhere. Another important point is posture. It is no coincidence that ancient cultures recommended sleeping in specific positions, often oriented towards directions considered sacred, aligned with the Earth's magnetic field. This wasn't superstition. They understood that the human body is also a receiver and emitter of frequencies, and that sleeping in harmony with the Earth amplifies natural repair. We can say then that good sleep is a silent ceremony. You turn off the lights of the world, but you turn on the lights of your internal universe. The body, obeying ancient codes inscribed in its biology, activates mechanisms you do not consciously control: the release of melatonin, the production of reparative hormones, neuronal cleansing. Every night you have the opportunity to be reborn, but for that rebirth to be complete, you must honor the rules of sacred sleep. The most intriguing thing is that although modern science is beginning to approach this understanding, our ancestors already lived it naturally. They didn't ask how many hours one must sleep, but how to surrender to sleep so it could do its work. That is the difference between resting as a habit and sleeping as an art. If we have understood that sleep is a living architecture, it is now time to penetrate its most secret chambers, those aspects most people are unaware of, but that mark the difference between sleeping as a mechanical act and sleeping as a sacred ceremony of healing. The first secret is the intention prior to rest. This is not simple spiritual romanticism, but a real key that determines the type of journey your consciousness will take during the night. Imagine you are about to board a ship. If you don't plot a course before setting sail, the current will take you anywhere, and you might wake up feeling the same or worse than before. However, if before sleeping you program your mind with a clear intention, to heal, to release emotions, to receive answers. Your subconscious acts as the captain who steers that ship toward ports of true restoration. Ancient cultures knew this. Egyptians, Taoists, yogis, and shamans from different regions practiced pre-sleep rituals, slow breathing, prayers, mantras, sacred aromas like sandalwood or Palo Santo, all to tune the energy field before surrendering to rest. Today we call it sleep hygiene, but they understood it was more than hygiene. It was preparing the inner temple to receive invisible visitors, energies, and messages. The second secret is vibrational silence. Sleeping is not just closing your eyes, it is turning off the invisible noise that continues to pound our minds even in the darkness. This noise isn't always audible. Sometimes it's the internal agitation generated by worries, news, screens, and heavy conversations right before bed. This noise alters the electromagnetic field of your body and breaks the coherence of your brain waves, preventing you from reaching the deepest phases of sleep. To achieve this vibrational silence, there are simple but powerful practices. Meditating for a few minutes before bed, avoiding electronic devices at least an hour before, or even writing in a journal everything that weighs on your mind so you don't have to take it to bed. Simply put, deep sleep does not flourish in agitated soil. The third secret is energetic alignment. Sleeping with the body oriented towards certain directions like east or north has been recommended by entire civilizations, not out of superstition, but because the earth itself emits energetic and magnetic fields that interact with our nervous system. Some modern studies are beginning to show that this can influence rest quality and hormonal regulation. In mystical terms, sleeping aligned with the earth is like plugging into a circuit of energy that recharges not only the body, but also the spirit. The fourth secret is understanding that sleep is a space for spiritual contact. During the night, our consciousness is not trapped by the physical laws that govern the day. In that state, we can receive information from subtler planes, find creative solutions to problems, and even access memories that are not linear, but fragments of our soul's own history. Many people call this message dreams or lucid dreams, but the essence is the same. The night is a territory of connection. Finally, there is conscious awakening. Here lies a paradox. Much of the benefit of sleep is lost in the first few minutes after opening our eyes. Jumping out of bed abruptly, looking at the phone, or immediately activating worries shuts off the energetic echo of the nocturnal experience. Waking consciously means opening your eyes slowly, feeling your body, giving thanks, and bringing back the sensations and messages from your dreams before you move. This seals the nighttime work and anchors it in your day. Sleeping well is not a passive act. It is a co-creation between you and the invisible forces that sustain life. When you master these secrets, you stop seeing the night as a parenthesis in your day and understand it as the true origin of your health, your mental clarity, and your spiritual balance. Sleeping well is a forgotten art, and like all arts, it demands mastery. It is not enough to go to bed early or turn off the light. Restorative sleep is the result of a series of conscious gestures that, repeated night after night, turn your rest into a living medicine. Here are keys that are not simple recommendations, but true rituals that would completely transform the way your body and soul restore themselves. Begin with a ritual of energetic disconnection. At least 1 hour before sleep, turn off all screens, phone, computer, television. It's not just because of the blue light that affects melatonin, but because every image, message, and sound generates waves that agitate your mental field. Replace that time with a symbolic act. Light a candle, drink an herbal infusion, listen to soft music, or simply sit in silence. This change marks an energetic threshold. You leave the external world and enter your internal world. Second, harness the power of nocturnal breathing. Before closing your eyes, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to deep, conscious breathing. A simple technique is to inhale for a count of 4, hold the air for 4, exhale for 6, and take a small pause before inhaling again. This not only calms the mind, but activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the physiological key that opens the doors to deep rest. Third, respect the language of the body, temperature, and darkness. Our organism follows a biological clock that responds to clear signals, a drop in temperature and the absence of light. A cool bedroom between 18 and 21 degrees Celsius and completely dark sends your brain the ancestral message that it is time to enter repose. Do not underestimate this detail. Total darkness stimulates the production of melatonin, the master hormone of sleep and cellular regeneration. Fourth, consider the posture that converses with your organs. Sleeping on your side, especially the left side, favors blood circulation, aids digestion, and reduces pressure on the heart. This is no coincidence. In many ancient medicine traditions, this posture was considered the most harmonious for allowing internal organs to dialogue with each other during the night. While every body is different, learning to listen to how your posture influences your rest is key. Fifth, keep a nightly journal to clear the mind before sleep. Writing for a few minutes before bed is like cleaning the mental slate. It doesn't matter if they are reflections, worries, gratitudes, or to-do lists. What matters is unloading from your mind what could become internal noise during the night. This frees up space for your dreams to be channels of pure information instead of simple repetitions of your daily anxieties. Sixth, use intention as your oniric compass. Never go to bed without a purpose. It can be as simple as, tomorrow I will wake up with energy, or as profound as, tonight I will heal this emotion. By giving a clear instruction to your subconscious, you program your nocturnal journey to work in your favor. Seventh, embrace a slow awakening as an energetic seal. The way you emerge from sleep determines whether the nighttime work is integrated or lost. Avoid jarring alarms. If you can, use a soft sound or wake with natural light. Take a few minutes to stretch, breathe, remember your dreams, and give thanks. This moment is like closing a ritual. It preserves what you have gained during the night. Eighth and finally, practice constancy. It is the key that unlocks the treasure. Magic does not arise from isolated acts, but from habits repeated with devotion. Commit to applying these steps every night. In a few weeks, you will notice your daytime energy growing, your emotions stabilizing, and your mind clearing. Sleeping well is not a luxury. It is a spiritual and biological practice that sustains everything else. Sleep is not lost time. It is the silent workshop where your body repairs itself, your mind reorganizes, and your spirit reconnects with its origin. When you honor it as such, you discover that true rest is not just about closing your eyes. It is about opening the door to a night that returns to you multiplied what the day has taken away. You have walked a path that for most remains hidden in the fog of the obvious. Because although we all sleep, few understand that sleep is the most sacred laboratory we possess. In it, your body is repaired, your mind is cleaned, and your spirit meets its true home. And all of this happens without you, seemingly, moving a single muscle. But that doing nothing is an illusion. Deep rest is the fruit of a conscious choice. Sleeping well is not a passive act. It is an art that requires intention, preparation, and respect. In a world that pushes you to live fast, to steal hours from the night, and to replace calm with screens and noise, choosing to sleep well is almost an act of spiritual rebellion. It is telling the universe, I value this body, I honor my energy, and I protect my mind, and the reward is immense. The body that repairs itself while you sleep not only grows stronger physically, it also fine-tunes its internal mechanisms so you awaken with mental clarity, more balanced emotions, and a deeper connection to who you are in essence. Sleep is the invisible bridge that joins your material experience with your infinite nature. You now know it is not just about going to bed early, but about creating a nocturnal temple, a space, a temperature, a darkness, and a ritual that signals to your being that the time has come to surrender to repair. You know that conscious breathing, intention before sleep, and the way you wake are as important as the duration of your rest. You have discovered that sleep can be a medicine or a poison, depending on how you prepare for it. Imagine this. Every night is a seed you plant in the fertile ground of your subconscious. If you water it with correct habits, it will germinate into health, vitality, and lucidity. If you neglect it, it will grow weak, clumsy, and shallow-rooted. The choice is yours, and it renews itself every time the sun sets. Therefore, I invite you to transform sleep into your silent teacher. Honor each night as if it were an ancient rite, one that needs no altars or incense, because the altar is you, and the incense is your breath. Make every awakening a rebirth, and every nightfall a return to your essence. Remember, 99% of people do not know how to sleep well, but you no longer belong to that 99%. You have seen what lies behind the veil, and now you hold in your hands the key that can change your life, night after night, dream after dream.